for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report special presentation of none other than the Turnbuckle. I, of course, am your host, none other than Creative Control Jay, and I got my guy to my right, none other than C.O. Lumbus D. Gully. Talk to me. What up, Doe? On this Wednesday night.
It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday wrestling night, man. Let's talk about it, man.
Yeah, without further ado, I'm going to jump right in here. As you guys saw a moment ago, we had a heck of a weekend in the world of women's sports, as we had in our part one earlier this week. And now we're bringing back that other half starting with, of course, none other than Evolution. And so, Gully, I'm going to turn it over to you. When looking at this card, there was a lot of fireworks, but talk to me just on the surface of what you thought on the production itself.
Overall, I remain impressed, man. With a quality, I feel like a quality presentation of a pay-per-view. It is something that, admittedly, because it's just a woman's card, it is unique to their programming. They don't have a dedicated regular programming just for women. So it was a bit of niche, if you will, even for WWE, but it still had every bit of the attention to detail and support of the product as it would any other premium live event, right? And if you want to showcase women, you want to give them the same setup or launching pad that you would, general WWE performance or general WWE premium live event. So in that regard, they hit all the marks, and it was a quality show for real. On the card overall, you know what I'm saying? It was a quality show.
Absolutely. And speaking of within the show itself, was none other than the IC title being won by, of course, Becky Lynch, and she defeated Bayley and Lyra. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like Becky's attire. It was a bit of a departure from everything else you might see, right? We talked about that before. We talked about that before the show. You know what I mean? Privately, and for me, I like the idea that it was actually competition. It was actually a great match, some great spots for real. Everybody had their moments, and everybody had a chance to shine. You know what I'm saying? And Becky Lynch, coming out with the title, not walking away with the title. It was fitting. It was fitting, and albeit transparent, it was fitting. I wouldn't have been upset if it went either way, but certainly her retaining the title, her walking away with the title, I was not upset with it in the least.
Absolutely. And moving along, we also had the women's championship, which was Tiffany Stratton defeating Trish Stratus. I know you did not care for her comments when she was being, kind of whisked away by the referee there after the match about part-time in particular.
I think she mentioned something about part-time, whatever it was. I will say, much like SNME, we acronyms and initials laid and now in the 21st century. So Saturday night's main event featured a part-timer Hall of Famer competing for a title that went predictably the way it should have, with the current talent further cementing his legacy in the Goldberg match. But we're talking about the women's here because this is the women's podcast.
I don't know. We'll get there. We'll get there as well. We'll cover it.
We'll do, yeah. Tiffany Stratton winning the title or retaining the title is the obvious thing to do, right? We don't need to have part-timers coming in carrying gold because they actually need it more to help them than they do for elevating the title, which is what it would mean if you had somebody like a Hall of Famer, someone with a presence, someone who was overall likable, whether they were a heel or a face. They had that charisma, right? They had that interest from the fans. Tiffany don't have that more than Trish. Trish doesn't have that more than Tiffany Stratton. So it made no logical sense for Trish to walk out with that title. And I'm glad I'm glad it went the way it did. It was a pretty good match. What it did show me though is this ain't the same 50, guys. Trish Stratus 50 years old. Bro, I'm closer to 50 than I realize. So if I know that in a few years at 50, I could be moving around. Hold on, I gotta watch how I say it. Like, right? I know in a few years I could be moving, you know what I'm saying? I could still have that ability and that athleticism and ability at that time. That's great. That's fantastic. So I applaud her for that. But really, I feel like certain things are so, even when we suspend disbelief, when we watch professional wrestling, there's certain things that you can't have me suspend disbelief enough to make me buy in to Trish winning that title. And so it was never going to happen. If it had just been a competition, maybe, and she surprised her on like a SmackDown or a Raw or another PLE, whereby she surprised her enough and got a victory, in which case Tiffany would have been like, you know what? No, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna put the stakes higher. Now we're gonna double or nothing, and then perhaps reeled me in with an opportunity that maybe this could happen. Then I could probably go for it. But come on, man, you got Hall of Famers, part-timers competing for world titles, and you want me to believe? Though I said, again, we watch professional wrestling, we already put enough to the side to understand what we're watching. But then, of all the things we put to the side, to still believe that, okay, a part-timer gonna win a title, a top-tier title at that, it's hard. It's too hard, man. It's a bridge too far. It's a bridge too far for me. Nonetheless, great match.
Yeah, I agree. It does appear, however, and I want to get your thoughts on this, that Trish is hanging him up. And I know joking. Well, okay.
I mean, how many hangups do you get? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I would say as many as she'd like.
What is our favorite guy who doesn't probably like us or know us say? How can we miss you if you won't go away?
Well, she's not on LFG anymore. I may have missed her, right? It may have just been for me.
All right, but remember how people feel, especially if they don't like them. You know how people feel about Michael Jordan's Wizard tenure, right? It somehow detracts from his overall legacy.
So are you suggesting that this is tainting her career in spite of you admiring her physique and abilities at said age?
Yeah, these things are mutually exclusive. I'm saying, hey, if you're a part-timer, cool. Okay. You putting me in marquee matches and I'm a part-timer. I don't know if I'm invested in the product, if I'm invested in the product and I'm not on the nostalgia train, Tiffany Stratton losing to Trish Stratus doesn't make sense for me. Okay. But if all my heroes were the best ever, you know, if wrestling ain't wrestling what it used to, if 1995 to 2005 was the best decade ever in professional wrestling, then yeah, put the strap on a part-timer. Let all the part-timers who are physically fit, who are physically active enough, let them all come back and let them all, you know, be in the main event picture, be in the title picture. Let them all come back. Otherwise, nah, man, it's unfair. It really is unfair, because here's the other part about it. If they are, you still have the idea, especially in Triple H's vision, creative vision, you still have long form storytelling. They're a part-timer. How do you build a long story? How do you elevate them to have the title, have prestige, for them to then pass the torch? They're part-timers. You don't see enough of them for them to sustain passing the torch on. So it's hard. It's a hard sell for me. But if it was a non-title match and it was a one-off, then not only could you have the opportunity for them to see them at their greatest, you know what I'm saying, at their best, given the age that they are, and then you have an opportunity for them to get over, for them to actually get over, but getting the win, for the new talent to put over the Hall of Famer, or the Hall of Famer to actually put over the new talent, even though the Hall of Famer wins. That's plausible.
Okay, but I'm gonna say this from a creative vantage point. You don't think she was brought in to help boost the card because of, you know, the injury to Liv, as an example?
I can't get past the fact that it was for a world title, and I just don't believe that she was gonna walk out with the title. Put it on the card like, hey, put it on the card like, hey, because like, all right, put it this way, put it on the card like, hey, you in my shine, you ain't doing nothing that I ain't already did. Which is what I firmly believe Tiffany Stratton is. A modern day Trish Stratus. With the complete Trish Stratus, not the one that developed that I really wasn't a fan of at the beginning of her run all those years ago, but became a fan of because she actually committed to learning how to wrestle, and she became good at it, if not great at it. Right, I see Tiffany Stratton as a legacy from that tree, right? But you know, more gifted at her stage than Trish was. But I can see where you could play that. You are what I was, and you know, the whole Superman, Dwight Howard sort of thing. I can see that, and then you can make a match on that. You know what I'm saying? Something other than a title, because I feel like title belts matter a lot still in this business and in this industry and in this, let's say, in this art form. And so I want to believe that the person who has the title sustains or elevates the roster itself, the era that they're in, and elevates those in that era. I don't know that Trish winning a title would have done that, considering she's a part-timer.
That's fair. And so I want to keep this thing moving along here. We also had, of course, Jade victorious over Naomi. Any thoughts there, of course, without a spoiler alert?
Hey, what I was saying, man, I've been a fan of Jade for a long, long time on this program. Haven't I?
You sure have.
And yes, and so I'm glad to see what I saw when I saw what I saw. You know what I mean, in that match.
And by that it means victorious.
Huh?
I said, and by that you meant victorious.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just waiting for, you know, I just want the era of domination to begin post haste. Okay, post haste. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. But I'll settle for this for right now. You know what I'm saying? I'll settle for this for right now. I just think there's so much potential with that era of dominance coming in.
Well, and I think you're going to get what you've been hinting at for months. It may be the worst kept secret is that feud between Bianca and Jade was going to be there, and I think now the necessary stepping stone has taken place.
For sure. And
For those Naomi fans out there who may have not seen this, of course, she would be okay. As we dive into the main event for your Women's World Championship, you had none other than said Naomi here defeating Io Sky.
Wait. See, you brought it up. Oh, man, you queued it up slightly. You queued it up differently than what I would have thought. Because let's first of all state that Io Sky and Rhea delivered again. They delivered again, right? So before we figure out before we find out what actually ended up happening, they delivered again.
Can I ask you a serious question? Who does Rhea remind you of on the men's side historically that was that type of consistent in helping put someone else over? And that to me has always been the key to greatness.
Helping putting someone else
over. Okay, this may be, I may be jumping out of the plane, right? I might be in the moment and putting her into taker territory.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. That's a safe space with me. I'm going to tell you, when people make claims and they compare athletes of an era, good athletes of an era, to Hall of Famers of other eras, it's kind of like uncharted territory. And, oh, my goodness, you have no idea. You have no right to say this. And who do you think you are? And there's no way, it's not even close. I am not that guy. No human being is above reproach, even if I think they're the greatest. What you are saying here is you pattern her arc, if you will, and her body of work and a trend here to be ever dominant while still having the ability to put over others while not and still maintain your dominance, right? The Undertaker put over Stone Cold. He put over The Rock. He put over, except for Shawn Michaels in the main, but except for WrestleMania, he put over HBK. He put over every other. He put over his contemporaries. And it still did not phase or affect or detract from his overall body of work, his overall legacy. So in that case, I like what you said there, because I couldn't think of someone at their level, at their status as a pro wrestler. I couldn't think of anybody who was doing it, still maintaining their being able to put over talent while preserving or protecting their overall legacy. And Undertaker would be maybe one of them that comes to mind. I would say I'll leave it up to our fans to figure out some others, but I don't disagree with you on that one. Actually, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, and again, obviously she's got work to do in terms of the longevity, right? But at the same time, notable elevations for me. Naturally brought up Lyra from NXT back when she was in NXT even. And then also, of course, Liv, putting her over. And we've seen where that had went until just recently. Right. And even Raquel Rodriguez at one point in time, too. So I just think that's a heck of a start. And let's see what, go ahead and kind of, expound on this match with Io Sky, because as you pointed out, they both deserve their flowers on this.
Man, listen. That power bomb on the side, like you don't expect. Even still, has, let's say, massage. No, it's not even misogynistic. You don't expect that really from women. You don't expect that really from main eventers who have an idea that they are athletes and they're human beings outside of that. You don't expect that even from Randall Keith Orton. You follow me? But when you get it, it delivers, right? So the fact that it happened in a women's match, they're showing that, hey, listen, we can deliver these same thrilling, engaging, heart-stopping bumps, you know, or show-stopping bumps that the men can. We can deliver that type of match. We can deliver that type of storytelling, and they proved it, and they proved it in a grand way. And let's now insert. Right, it's been a long time coming for her to get her shine. Finally, we got a title, and we got it in a way that actually protects Io Sky's one-on-one, head-to-head singles matchup against Ripley. Get what I mean? Like, the title was won in a triple threat. You know what I'm saying? It was one of the triple threat. So Io still is, I think, is she undefeated against Rhea in singles competition? Or is it like singles title competition? I think it's single.
Yeah, that I'm unsure of, but I would imagine SummerSlam's main event, you get another triple threat with what we saw here.
Yeah, and for Rhea to come out on top of that, or Io to come out on top of that, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. See, this is the thing. This is the long form storytelling and character building that I appreciate, because it makes it believable. It can go either way because of the way the story has been told, and because of who we have and their body of work. Right, so it makes it believable that they, you know, that Rhea could finally get her comeuppance and, you know, and win the title. I don't know if comeuppance is used in that way of fashion, but let me try to stop using big words I just read. Never mind. But she can get her get back. There we go. Get her lick back. Oh.
Oh my.
Well, you see some of them submissions, boy.
Well, no, that was Tony Storm.
Boy. Oh man. You know what? They might as well just put that on the Spice Network and just have at it, bro. They really should
have at it. You say?
I said what I said, and I meant what it meant. Whatever you think it meant, I said what I said. I'm responsible for what I say, not for what you understand.
All right. Any final thoughts on this evolution in women's sports?
Let it keep going. I love it. I'm here for it because of it, because of what we have in a program like Evolution, which showcases among the best of women's professional wrestling or women's WWE talent. You do get Jordynne Grace, right? You get Toni Storm. You get a rising tide that is the main star, or the main act, the main attraction in the world of professional wrestling, which is WWE. The rising tide that lifts all boats. And so now you have women's wrestling from across promotion, from the international to the national, down to the local, from all different brands, giving you quality matches, or at least working their way up to it, right? At least trying it, you know what I'm saying? There's not just going after the risque, even though Toni Storm does both of these things with you know what I mean? She a hybrid for sure, but you get better quality wrestling overall. Even Jeannie Buss promotion. Wow. I mean,
that's right.
Right. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it, because if it's good and it's quality enough, then you have some difference, right? It's not the same old. It's not the same 6 guys with 6 moves that we tired of, but then we only tune into that. You know, it does create an alternative. And then it creates a pathway, man. I mean, come on, man. Listen, imagine you a dad. Imagine you a guy grew up on professional wrestling. That's all you knew. You marry your high school sweetheart. You guys have a beautiful family. And you go 6 for 6 with girls. You have 6 girls. 6. There's no
Henry
NFL.
VIII.
Huh?
Never mind. Keep going.
Yeah. Right. There's no NFL. There's no MLB. There is no NBA. But now there is WWE. There is WNBA. There is soccer. Wait, is it W?
NWSL for soccer.
You said NWSL?
That's right.
What? There's even women's professional football, right? Team out of Texas won the thing. Remember they had the game at the at Cowboy Stadium. Just like not even a week or two ago. Right. But women love sports too. They love these sports and combat sports and action sports as well. So now we're seeing that naturally, given time and given space and given proper support, you're getting actually good talent overall. You're not just getting a gimmick. You're not just getting one particular angle, right? And let me say here on this program that I, for one, I may be among the minority. Boy, man, I got a way of saying stuff today, don't I? I wasn't really a fan of, even in the Attitude Era, I wasn't a fan of a lot of that. And you might think that I'm just simping right now. I wasn't a fan of the whole bra and panties and they can't really fight and it's just and my shirt. I was never a fan of that. I was not that to me. I was not a fan of that. Maybe because I knew where to go when I left my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, to put it mildly, like I knew where to go. So I didn't need to see that on TV, especially with my mom in the room.
Well,
and she's coming in and out. What you watch on TV? And then you got Trish Stratus, and you got Stacy Keibler and whomever else. I wasn't. That to me was because you really couldn't do much with it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that never got me. But I tell you what did. Bull Nakano. I'll tell you what did. Jacqueline. When they could move, but then still had that poise and elegance, that got me. That was my thing. That was my jam. You understand? So when I see it now, and then they still have softer features, rounded edges, if you will, to be appropriate, you know what I'm saying, without, and paying respects. And to see they still have the physicality that is involved in professional wrestling, and they still have the storytelling that's involved in professional wrestling, but they still can move, but they still yes, I enjoy it. You get what I'm saying? But I wasn't a fan of a whole lot of what I saw from the women. Like, all right, I'll give you an example, but I'll tell you who I was a fan of. Lita. Hey, that's a bad example when you can think about what happened with Lita.
Pipe bomb.
It is what it is, man. Yes, Lita. Okay, Swanton Bomb Lita. All right, and both Mr. Hardy and Edge. Okay, I'm all right. I'm keep it cool. All right, Beth Phoenix, Natalya.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yep, I said it. Okay, that's what I was a fan of. So to see wrestling kind of like those, the few that I really enjoyed when I was a youngster watching wrestling. And I see an abundance of talent that's overall that hits on all of those features, right? When it comes to what do you want to showcase for women, the storytelling, the attractiveness, and the athleticism. That's what I'm here for. Absolutely, that's what I'm here for. So,
Fair enough.
Yeah, send me more of that.
Well,
shout out Clips tuning in to the Shop Report on TikTok. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. You're gonna see more of us. Appreciate you. Let me see if I can show them some love here.
That's right. And for those that don't know, we are across the entire digital universe right now. live on, of course, our home base, which was Facebook for the longest, YouTube, Twitter, of course, or X now, and we got Gully on Twitch, and we also have a Kick, and of course, as you heard, we're on TikTok. So
Yes,
by all means, no matter where you are, have your say. We will throw it up in the comments as best and answer it as best as possible. And as Barbershop Jay always says, if you come at us with some bull and he ain't here, I'll probably just give you a quick 2-piece to go.
Hey, Clips just asked if we like indie wrestling. I would say,
Absolutely.
yeah, but you know what? In fairness, that's something that I think we as a Shop Report, you know what I'm saying, we at Turnbuckle, we got to do a we got to turn more attention to there. So yeah, I would like it. You know, I like it. I would appreciate it. But yeah, find more of it, man. We'll find more of it, especially, you know, going to like the local things, you know what I mean? I would definitely like to see it. I don't think it's it can be Bush League at times. I hate when they kind of go that route, because being Bush League in the Indies is a very vulnerable position to put the fans and the talent. But when they are working themselves, and it's a matter of them just starting out, and they're working themselves toward having a quality product, even at the indie level, I can appreciate that. He says, Clips says there's a good promotion in North Carolina. What's the name of the promotion, Clips?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, send it. We'll spotlight it, man. We're gonna take a look at it.
Absolutely. I've just historically I've been to like I said, Fire Pro Wrestling in Indiana. Gave a shout out here to even Megan's family runs one there in Southern Kentucky, Northern Tennessee, and of course everything in between. So absolutely, if they got quality stuff, then we'd be more than willing to take it on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he said it's called Wrestling Evolution in North Carolina.
Give him a follow here and check it out.
Yeah, give him a follow. I'm trying to work this live while we're on. So pardon us while we get ourselves acclimated here. Let's go and give him a follow. Bam.
They got a promotion coming up this weekend, it looks like, Gully.
Oh, they do?
That's right. Looks like Cruel Summer, Saturday, July 19th. So free plug here from us. That's how we get down.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to this. It's a great card. Love it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Hey, if we get a chance to check it out, man, to get some clips of it, your name Clips, we'll definitely spotlight it, man. Thanks for putting us on to that, Clips. Thanks for putting us on to that.
Absolutely. Speaking of putting us on, let's talk quickly. Cover the elephant in the room here. Okay. Again, this was from Javon Evans. You learned from HBK when I was 12. So this is in our best. Tell me you did not just say that segment. And became a multiple-time champion. Now you're wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade. Am I right? Hashtag the young OG. And again, it goes on to show prices from WrestleTix for both the Great American Bash and then, of course, AEW's All In. Golly, take it from here.
All right. I was trying to read this thing and find out what exactly is happening here, because I didn't understand it the other day. And now when I see it, I don't understand it today, but for a different reason. So tell me, what am I supposed to be saying, Double J? Because I'm trying to figure out, first of all, help me set this up, because I have an opinion about it, but it's based off of a piece of information that I'm trying to deduct from what I see in this WrestleTix. Okay, is it to suggest that AEW All In Texas has 2,000 seats available but they're wrestling in front of a capacity of 24,000.
That it would be correct.
So they have 24,000 capable that to watch it, and of that, 2,000 seats still remain. So that means like 24,000 people basically filled in, came to that arena. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So they wrestled in front of 24,000 people. Yes, and I'm saying it 2 and 3 times over. Pardon me, guys. So,
that's correct.
Okay, and so the Great
Basically,
American
the venue
Bash,
is almost full.
Say again.
Just reiterating that the venue is near capacity.
Okay, so All In Texas was near capacity at 24,000.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, WWE Great American Bash was at the Center Stage Theater in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's correct.
It only held 772 seats.
That's correct.
And they had 83 tickets available.
That is also correct.
All right. So can we collapse the zoom in on the Russell ticks?
Mm-hmm.
And no, it bring back up the tweet or whatever. So was this kind of like he said this and then somebody was like, yo, let's talk numbers. Is that right?
Yes, essentially. That was what had occurred.
So somebody was basically clocking his T by showing the numbers, right?
That's right.
Okay, so all right. So it is what I thought it was the other day.
It was a specific individual who left WWE.
He left WWE and he's wrestling in main events at All In Texas in front of 24,000 people.
Correct. And he was a speed champion once upon a time.
Ricochet.
Yes. That was not a Name That Superstar, by the way. Just,
All right, cool. So Ricochet, so he was throwing shade at Ricochet, and then somebody was like, well, just take a look at these numbers, guys.
Literally.
All right.
Well,
cool.
because again, it's contrary. They're kind of trying to point out the contrast in what Javon said. Because again, historically, what people have pointed out is that AEW has struggled to sell tickets, and they've chosen a pathway that I had suggested, which was, well, go to smaller venues that you can at least give the illusion of capacity.
Which is what WWE's done with NXT.
In turn, yes.
Their third premium live event of a 2-day weekend. Right? Is that
yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Wouldn't this be the third premium live event by one company in one weekend? So where are they going to fit the people at? That's the question. That's question number one.
What do you mean?
The only thing that WWE could have or should have done was put the Great American Bash on another weekend. You've got to promote 3 premium live events. People are already pissed that the big 4 are now 2 days. So what I'm saying is, you get a pay-per-view that holds 24,000 people, but weekly you can't draw half of that. You can't draw 12 weekly. You can draw Great American Bash numbers weekly, but WWE can draw half of your pay-per-view on a Tuesday. They can draw half of your pay-per-view on a Monday or Friday. And you know what they do on the premium live event. So what I mean is, let me put that in proper perspective. At this current time, AEW has made some improvements because they were able to get that crowd, but they still have a ways to go. not to be bigger than WWE is in the professional sports landscape overall, but to be competitive on a weekly level, because you just tried to trash the third pay-per-view of a 2-day weekend by comparing it to the one pay-per-view you have. Yes, if you place a JV starter against if you place a varsity starter against a college freshman, a college redshirt, the varsity starter might have them. But if we put the teams together, what are we really talking about? So it's like, put that in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Don't run the numbers that you got on this one time, because that's the only thing you really have going. It could be more. It should be more. It will be more. But at this current moment, at this current juncture, don't put the one thing you got going versus the third thing we got going and talk about you doing better than me. My album compared to your single. Like, don't do that. Because guess what's going to happen the next pay-per-view? Next time they in that stadium. Now, that's the key. What happened? Matter of fact, bring that tweet back up. Globe Life Field, Arlington, Texas. I'd like to know the last time WWE did a PLE at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. That's the question I have. Hey, is it possible you could find that real quick? How quickly could you find that, Creative Control J?
I'm on it right now.
Absolutely.
10 seconds.
Yes.
So All In Texas again drew 27,000 fans, as we talked about. Hang on a second. Okay, so we know how the other seats did, because the triple weekend in Atlanta, the attendance was about 16,000 total.
You said 16,000 total?
Yeah.
Everything that WWE did this weekend?
Correct.
Again, you got the same fan base.
But that's 11,000 different here. So where did you want him to go?
Wait a minute. Hey, remember what's the name did? Close the doors. Close the doors. They passed that collection plate around 3 times. How many people you think you're going to get on a weekend if you stack the programming up that way? And again, this is where I think maybe WWE probably got a little bit ahead of itself. Maybe they should not have done that to certainly any 2 of those programs would be fine in a weekend. But to put all 3 up, that might have been a little bit much. And I'm pretty
WWE has never had any events at Globe Life Field to date.
They've never had any events at Globe Life Field.
So
where's Globe? You said Arlington. Who play? Anybody play there?
Yeah, haven't you seen they're right next to each other? That is the Texas Rangers. I'm going to assume, because thanks to Barbershop Jay, he showed a picture saying, I think it was Indy cars going to race around the Cowboys and that stadium.
Oh,
so yeah, either Indy car or F1, but that's going to be fire.
Yeah.
First of all, Texas Motor Speedway already is unique. Like, just for context, like, it's huge, but it has a hotel. Like, that's my jam, folks. Okay, so like when you see in Baltimore, there's a hotel that you could kind of peek into the stadium. It's not directly attached. You go to Toronto, however, and they do have it attached where you can open the window and the blinds, for that matter. I'm not giving anybody any recommendations. But yes, if there were a game going on, in theory, you would absolutely be able to see it. So that is more my thing. But I have now, I've done the padded seats and such. So this is more, now I need a lounge chair. So what I'm saying is that type of thing is unique to that area. If you remember, in Austin itself, they have Circuits of the Americas as well.
Right.
So But I am going to tip my cap to AEW for being the first.
Yeah. And as critical as I was about the comparison, just understand it was about the comparison. It's about the whole, you can say apples to oranges, but I too am going to say I'm glad and I appreciate the fact that AEW, for all my criticisms of the presentation, it can pull that type of numbers for a PLE or pay-per-view or whatever you want to call it. I like that. I appreciate that. I just think that you just got to that position. You picking on the freshman. And I guess this was, if we look at Javon Evans and Ricochet, maybe the idea of it is I've moved to bigger and better things and you still stuck in the developmental leagues. I think maybe that's
developmental leagues.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not suggesting that I believe that, but I'm saying I think that's what the insinuation is by showing the WrestleTick numbers of AEW's PLE versus the specific PLE that Javon was on. You get what I'm saying? It's the insinuation that you still playing the small arenas. You still in developmental while I'm in the main event. And I would say, yeah, but I don't think that's going to be for long.
Well, and again, I insert Exhibit A, which is this. Because regardless of how you feel, I always take the side of the opposite here. They outdrew them. I don't care that was their Mania. They outdrew them combined between the three venues. If you don't like it, pick a bigger venue.
You said AEW outdrew WWE?
Yes, that's right. I told you by 11,000.
Yeah, bro. It was the one program.
I don't want to hear it. I don't care.
To hear it. It was the one program. It was the only program. All right, listen. This is what I'm trying to tell you. My man closed the doors of that church. They passed the offering around already. They closed the doors of that church. All right. I don't know how much more you're going to squeeze out of people. Okay? Because it's wrestling. It's wrestling. It's wrestling. All right? I know. I'm not about to sit here 3.5 hours. I enjoyed it. I got the popcorn. I got the T-shirts. I got the title belt. I got the match. I did that. I'm not about to do that 3 times. And even if I like what I saw in the women's program, you want me to go right back and do the same thing and pay for that parking again? I got to go to these 3 events, bro. That's $80 in parking. That's $80 just to have my car sit there. You think I'm doing that over the weekend, or am I going to go to AEW and do it one time and get my fill? You see what I mean?
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. And speaking of one of those 3 events, that main event did occur, right? You brought up Gunther and Goldberg.
Yes, he did.
First of all, just share your thoughts on the match as a whole.
It was a decent match. Goldberg looked like he was Goldberg. He looked like he was aging, right? It looked like, he's 57. He looked like it. I remember something my granddad said. He says that, bulk doesn't carry well with older age. But Goldberg looked darn good for 57.
Better than Mike Tyson?
Yeah, 57, 58. I mean, he's much closer to 60 than he is 50. You know what I'm saying? And so he looked darn good for it. But he looked like he was aging. I mean, he looked like an aging warrior. You know what I mean? And that's where was a little overall disenchanted with it, because unlike Trish Stratus, Goldberg is built to be unstoppable, undeniable, impenetrable, if you will, right? So to have him come out of retirement to get choked out, like, man, he could have just stayed in the It didn't. How does it help Gunther?
Well, also for a belt, no less.
And for a belt, right? Like, I swear, man, listen, I had to buy a new TV. I broke every TV in the house. If I'd have seen Goldberg somehow raise that belt.
You really
now, the idea that how he lost, I appreciate that, because I don't think that it would have served Gunther well to pin Goldberg. It had to been like you had to take it from him. Dare I say, let's harken back to Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Bret Hart didn't beat him. He had to take it from him. And so he took it from him by putting Stone Cold in a position where I don't have nothing left. I couldn't say no because my body gave out, but I didn't. You get what I mean? So to put him to sleep, it's like, you didn't pin me, you didn't beat me. You could have, like, I wasn't in a position to have to give up. I wasn't in a position where I kept fighting until I couldn't fight no more. I kind of dig that. I can appreciate that. And I'm glad that it happened that Goldberg did not walk out with that title, because it would have been a problem. We would have had a different show. You know how our beloved host did away with his Hurricane fandom after a specific event that happened a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. So, I thought you were thinking Hurricane Peter McNeely.
No. Or Hurricane Michael Irvin, which, what the heck, people? Whoa. Gary Glitter? Yo.
I'm going to leave that alone. I will say this. I did not care for the no selling of the chops. The laughing. That's his signature
no selling
thing.
No selling is a dicey one.
No, he Hogan'd that.
Yeah.
Didn't it feel like that boss in what is that, Street Fighter 2? When he would win, like one of those.
Sagat?
Yeah. Yeah, he pulled a Sagat on him. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
But you expect that from Goldberg. I would have expected some sign of
and injury to Gunther is what I expected.
Oh, for real. First of all, Gunther wasn't gonna let it happen. I'll tell you that right now. Gunther wasn't gonna nobody really would let it happen, but Gunther can see that. He can see
Brett let it happen.
Huh? Yeah, he can seize that moment. I think he'd be all right. But I wasn't it wasn't the greatest moment, but I don't despise it like I see with AEW when they do it. Yeah, and that might be a bit of hypocritical, but it might be a bit contradictory. I can elaborate, but sticking to Goldberg Gunther for a moment, it wasn't the greatest, but it didn't do too much to dispel my taste. It wasn't the most.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't the worst thing that happened in that match.
Look, it was a retirement match, right?
Right.
As far as that goes, I think it got the job done. There's always going to be things, yes, especially for somebody that is part-time.
Yeah.
I'm using Tiffany's words there.
Right.
There are going to be things that coulda, woulda, shouldas in hindsight. That darn, if this were 20 years ago, I would have been, a little less, green around the ears or something, right? Like, however, does this do it, to your point earlier when you said, what does it do for Gunther? Does it do anything for Gunther?
Not to me. No.
From a legacy standpoint, mind you, this individual he just did beat your favorite Wyatt.
Yeah, I know. And when he did that, how many people loved it? Tell me who loved it? Except for Chris Jericho, who's fiscally more intelligent about the business now.
I didn't care for his comments on China post-mortem.
No, I
Because
ain't talking about that. I'm talking about,
I
I'm
know,
talking about
but
the fact that he
I
said
know,
that
but
Goldberg draws numbers. That's why it happened. Which, yes, we know that. Yes, we know that. Yes, Jim Tressel
wasn't
said
enough
the
to
punt is
beat
the best play in
AEW.
football. Yes, that is true, but that is not what you want to hear as a fan. Okay, we don't want to live in the reality. We don't really participate in the reality of the punt is the best play in football, because it is. But that's not what you say, man. You know, that's not what you're there for, right? So yes, Goldberg was a huge draw.
See, I disagree. The annexation of Puerto Rico. Just ask the Little Giants.
It's been fun, y'all, but we got to run. Check us out on the.
No. But again, getting back to this, just quickly here, I think it was more significant for Gunther because of the victory, in particular, staying within WWE, not the WCW stuff at all. Just leaving it at right or wrong.
Okay. You saw me
Right,
rearing
because
up, man. Hold on,
unfortunately, truthfully, if that that unfortunate set of circumstances had never occurred, I believe he would have been able to live that out. We would have seen it, and it would have been great. That to me would have likely headlined a WrestleMania one day, either as The Fiend or simply as Bray Wyatt versus Gunther, and it would have delivered.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
So unfortunately, we can't get that. But what we can get, again, is something like this to give us a little bit of an indication as to where creative feels Gunther stacks up on an all-time list. And where he's going. And we've talked about him building his resume in months past. And I think this was certainly just another big step in certainly another notch in the belt, as you say.
Yeah, I guess. All right, let me not be so cynical. But it's hard not to be cynical, man. It's hard not to be cynical. Yeah, it's hard. It's because he's been out the way. And Gunther already established that he is capable of doing this. For me, I want to see Gunther in more matches with his contemporaries establish his dominance. Put him in the ring with more Drew McIntyres. Or put him in the ring with Rusev. And even now, even though Rusev's just returned. Tell me I can beat the greatest among you now, because that's the era we in. Goldberg isn't even as part-time as Trish Stratus is. That's what don't make no sense, or maybe less than. I don't know, but it just seems like it's such a distant part of his past. That's why it was hard. It was a hard sell for me.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna disagree. It's over. I will leave it at that. Quickly getting into, of course, Raw, we had CM Punk, who we had something a little bit different with the gauntlet match there. Any thoughts? Obviously, Braun Breaker was victorious over Penta. Then he also defeated LA Knight. And then he defeated the Yeet Man. And then, of course, CM Punk was victorious over Braun Breaker. Where do you see this, because of the unfortunate side of the wrong side of long form storytelling, which was the very real issue that happened to Seth Rollins?
Correct. That's the risk you take with long form storytelling, is that an issue derails an entire season or series. But it does accelerate CM Punk getting back in the title picture, which I think is going to do great. And Braun Breaker getting into the title picture, which I think is going to do great. The reason why is because in the faction, you created the roadblock that Braun Breaker, for as long as you need that faction to run, Braun Breaker can't unseat the master, if you will. You know what I'm saying? 48 laws of power. But absent that master, now you have CM Punk. You have someone to go chase or someone to compete against. So now you could enter Braun Breaker into the title picture, which is what fans wanted anyway. He's been around longer than people think, or longer than people may realize. So now you can accelerate him in that, because now he's no longer captive by a faction that's underserving him, and you have to build that whole resentment angle. Now you got him like, oh, I got to step up for the brand. Oh, I can prove I'm ready now, because here's what you have now. Now you have Braun Breaker's face turn coming, because real injury to Seth, get well soon. I mean, you're a true talent for sure, but now you can have, I held it down when you wasn't here. I'm him now. Right? You have a Solo Sikoa Roman Reigns situation, right?
Now, it's interesting you say that, because I thought we were headed to Seth versus Roman, right? But at the same time, you could see the emergence potentially of someone as well that's been looking for a shot for a while. But I do like where you're going with that there. I do want to quickly reiterate that Adam Pearce made official for SummerSlam on Monday. Io Sky, that triple threat we were talking about.
There we go. And I'm looking forward to it. And you know what? I actually hope it kicks off the program. I wouldn't mind.
I don't, because I don't think, look, they're hitting differently today, right? This is not the, hey, you've been cut because we ran out of time and somebody went over.
Right.
This is, no, you just should set this thing off correctly. I say start with the retirement match.
Whose retirement match?
Well, I'm just saying it hypothetically here. It could very well be this one, which is Dominic Mysterio was told by Adam Pearce if he will be medically reevaluated next week. And if cleared, he would be booked to defend his IC title against AJ Styles at SummerSlam. There you go.
Make that happen. Right? Make that happen. Hey, didn't we miss that because of an injury?
Yes, we did.
Was it Dom's injury?
Yep.
Cool. And what did I tell you? To recap, I said, hey, my opinion about Dom. Hey, I'm gonna get to your question in a minute, Clips. Hold on, sit tight there. My opinion about Dom, my opinion about him changed, or what I was waiting for is here, in that I think a true talent is shown when you have the ability to take bumps. Because when you have an ability to take bumps, that means you're paying attention to your craft and you know how to sell and make a match look believable, because it is not about you. That last PLE that I saw him, the bumps he took to help move a story forward, they didn't have to do with him winning or getting the upper hand. That told me he on his way. More so than anything that his mic work may have done. I still think he needs a bit more offense for sure. I think he needs a bit more of an offensive identity. But his ability to take bumps, and then his aura, you know what I'm saying? His aura, his heel, his cocky aura, right? He plays everything that people think Jake Paul is and Logan Paul are. He plays that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You see it.
Yeah, and so I'm actually kind of buying in. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying in. I'm gonna get the trial, 30, 60, 90 day guarantee. See how this goes. And then we're gonna see what it is. But I'm gonna try it. All right.
You're buying the extended return policy on Dom.
Yeah. I'm gonna get the trial period of experiencing, hey, rooting for Dom. Hey, listen, Clips asks, when he asked us, what do y'all think Dragunov will return? What do you think, though, Double J, Creative Control J?
That's interesting, because one of the things that I was actually going to bring up to you was actually this potential match with Dom included was about, like, did the Rollins thing potentially hurt even did it further delay or the end of the faction, right? The end of Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And so coincidentally, that could also impact, a return date like Dragunov's, who, of course, I was thrilled. Like, he was on the rise, dude. It felt like it was his time.
Yeah.
Him and Lyra, I was going to say simultaneously. And then I can't recall if she got hurt necessarily, but not to the extent that he did. And, but certainly it sounds like, from what I was told, we're looking like maybe a week or two.
That's it.
Yeah. Like, it could be that. And now, potentially with the injury, again, it's twofold, right? One side says maybe it delays him, but then the other side of the coin is like, well, maybe it accelerates the return. Just the need for an additional body to change and delay in a different storyline.
Gotcha. Understood.
So again, this was so we'll see, but I think it is supposed to be pretty soon.
All right. Let me get to him. I don't know if he saw it or not. I just let him know maybe a few weeks. Yeah, and that'll be fine. That'll be fine, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm trying to think here with AEW. Oh my gosh, Tony Storm's entrance again, dude. I can only play it for you off the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just say it was she mentions a certain asset pointing a certain direction of hers.
Yeah.
Okay. Just in a world of its own. I will also give credit where credit is due on tonight's Dynamite with the getting a little feedback here. Hang on.
Hold on, I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. So, of course, on tonight's Dynamite, we had your new champion, Hangman Page, thanking just about everybody in the crowd except for ourselves. And then we had a solid match between Mascara and Kyle Fletcher. And then, of course, we had the tag team champions, the Hurt Syndicate, once again calling out the lack of competition. And looks like MJF has a new competitor emerge. But I will say this, the Young Bucks delivered tonight as well. That tag match was phenomenal. This again was the 8-person tag team match. And I liked, I was actually asking Gully when he had seen this occur with those types of exchanges in WWE. The closest window of time and names that were being thrown out there consisted of Benoit, which of course is a faux pas in today's by today's standards, and earlier. So let that sink in. And then, of course, Adam Copeland did come out next and explain why he did not save Christian Cage and referred to him as an expletive. So then he came out and gave Big Stoke a spear. I almost felt like that was, I don't know if that was paying homage or in spite of Goldberg, but it just, I don't know. I thought the timing was interesting. So we'll see what continues, obviously, as it rolled on. But as I mentioned, MJF now has a new competitor, and then we have a $100,000 four-way that was announced as well. And we are looking at potentially our first ever AEW Unified Champion, because Swerve Strickland has just called Rainmaker's bluff. And so, again, I thought overall Also seeing Darby Allin from up high was not it worked for me. But otherwise, it was a solid show for me. And we will be right back after this.
It's Kate Cunningham, and you watching The Shop Report. I'm Harvey Diallo, and you watching The Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching The Shop Report.
You're Jay Knight, you're watching The Shop Report.
Max McKee, you're dropping in on The Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Edwards from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching The Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching The Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching The Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching The Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching The Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching The Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching The Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to The Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching The Shop Report.
Hi, I'm Heath Bell from the New York Mets, and you're listening to The Shop Report podcast. Yeah!
Hey, I'm Josh Tolley, former catcher of the New York Mets, and you're watching The Shop Report.
This is Edgardo Alfonso for the Mets, and you're listening to Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching The Shop Report.
Hello, this is Mike Hampton, and you're watching Shop Report.
This is Herman Harvey, former NFL offensive lineman with the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, and you're listening to The Shop Report.
I'm Jordan Gudeman, and I'm the founder and CEO of Eddie G's Cookies. I was first diagnosed with a nut allergy when I was young. At the time, there weren't a lot of labeled items that said if there may contain nuts or there are nuts in the food, so my brother and sister and I baked a lot at home, and we enjoyed treats from mixes and things like that, but I noticed that it was not the same as what my friends were enjoying, and I started making up my own recipes. When it was time to pick a career, I decided to start a bakery so I could share my treats with everybody else. When I started creating my recipe, I was taking in all the things that I thought I was missing out on. A soft, chewy center, a crisp outside crust, and a taste that is just like it came out of the oven at a bakery. When I put all those things together, I'd come up with a recipe for a dream cookie. Eddie G's Cookies only uses the finest ingredients. We have all natural flavorings, no preservatives, and every cookie is made in a nut-free environment. The best part about Eddie G's Cookies is that they can be delivered right to your door. You can share them or not. We won't tell.
Cleaning the cracks on your pavement surfaces can take hours and be torturous on your body. Until now. Bicracky Weed Removal Tool was designed specifically to clean pavement cracks in a fraction of the time, all while standing up. Bicracky's patented design incorporates a two-sided steel blade and is encased by a durable fiberglass shell. Simply use the large end to clean big gaps, then rotate and use the small tip for narrow gaps. Made in the USA, Bicracky eliminates weeds to the root and is environmentally friendly. Bicracky. Save your back while you clean your crack.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from The Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report, click on more, and then shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
All right, just like that, we are back and wanted to dive into LFG, of course, season 2, episode 4. My guy, Shiloh Hill, who I've been riding with since, basically since he was doing social media, like he was doing dark web stuff. And still, he actually went too far, potentially, Gully. He ordered some shoes that appeared to have blood stains on them and a tracking device inside. Then got in touch, with the individual who he claimed was monitoring him, or at least this individual claimed was monitoring them both, named the Shoeman. And then he got the phone and another pair of shoes that he had ordered, and it appeared that was the device that was communicating with him. Almost like implying like that third person, like, is no more. Is a hashtag.
What? Yeah. What levels of depth are we
And that's
paying
why he
here?
said, I think I'm good with this. I think I'm done with this, bro.
Yeah.
So shout out Shiloh Hill. He was victorious versus Harlem Lewis. I thought that was a fantastic match. Those dudes look polished to me.
Right.
Again, for me, I'm going to say right now, if Shiloh doesn't end up with the contract, we riot. Like,
why?
It fits for me. And I think Undertaker agrees, dude. Like, that guy's got star written all over him.
All right. So remember, Jennifer Hudson didn't win American Idol. And that got her.
Stutter did, didn't he?
That year, I think it was Ruben.
Or was that Fantasia? Which was it?
I can't remember.
All right, yeah. It's been a while.
It's been, I went all the way. I went all the way back, right? I went all the ways back as far as the ways could go. But the point is, just like a title, right? Sometimes a title helps to elevate. A contract for another person who's on the cusp, but still probably needs the guidance and the fine-tuning of what the WWE could bring, would probably get that contract. He may be well enough all on his own that if he gets it, it would be great because he'll fit right in, but he's got the tools or assets to build himself up, and then he could maybe have that freedom to go elsewhere, to then get that cult following that then he will lead to WWE, once he elevates himself, and that way he'll be all good to go once he arrives. He'll be complete. Like, dare I say, like the route and the path that AJ Styles took. Got it done elsewhere. And by the time he came, he was already, he was okay with coming in right into the main event picture because he was already developed. Everybody knew who he was.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, you got guys like Elijah Holyfield there, right? Who, of course, spent time in the NFL. And remember his dad, wasn't he in a match with MVP?
Why'd you bring that up? That would not be the claim to make. Oh boy.
Well, I do want to wish him well. They was announced that he's in a relationship with another contestant, Zena Sterling. So he's winning.
Yeah.
And she was victorious.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, absolutely. So she took advantage of a bootlace issue, as I'll call it, and just decisive offense. I would summarize that in. And then Serena was ultimately, she defeated Hayes Jamerson. I like Hayes. Okay, I think that might upset Megan, but I like Hayes. I think she knows I like Hayes as a creator.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, because that couch is real cold. That couch is real hot in the summertime. Okay, you mess around, you be on that couch, and she'll turn off the AC.
Oh, here we go. Speaking of, Ruben was with Clay Aiken.
Yeah. Context is everything, man.
That's right. And then, of course, Trill London was victorious over BJ Ray.
Yeah.
So are you all right? I'm buying Charlotte Flair, right? Was our guest host. I gotta, it bothered me ever since it happened. Okay. There was the awkward hug. exchange. Nobody else caught it. I think I'm the only one that cringed a little bit.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. She's on like you could tell there's like somewhat of an apology to her. She was very huggy with Stephanie in Stephanie's places. Don't ask me why I've seen Charlotte Flair in like 10 spots lately, but that's okay.
So looking for Charlotte Flair all like that for, man.
Right.
I
promise I'm not up in her
ever since
Kool-Aid
that
like
0-3
that.
comment, bro. You've been looking.
Oh, don't go there. Well, you know what? And I actually read that she was really bothered by that because she said it wasn't necessarily Charlotte that was 0-3. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That maybe the envelope was pushed a little too far.
Yeah, and well, that's the real risk, right? We gotta, protect kayfabe. You gotta make it a little spicy, and lines get crossed, right? Sunny Days comment that's Bret Hart say that caused a lot of discussions in the Hart family household.
I bet.
It's a lot.
That Canada Day was not quite the same after
right.
Boxing Day, for that matter. Oh, well, it's been fun. We got to run.
Yeah, right.
Gully, anything else for you today?
Well,
I'm apparently already putting enough.
Ashley Furniture has a sale on AC cooled and heated couches. Double J, you might want to get one for the fall and winter time. You're subject to need that couch a lot more often. Okay.
Yeah, good to know. For those out there in the digital universe, please send any additional funding in order to pay for said item.
Yeah, but no, man. Again, I just want to recap, as we close it out for this evening, let y'all get back to y'all day in the middle of the week and get into your weekend and your shit and digs and everything you got to do. I just want to close out again. I'm glad. I appreciate the commitment made to legitimize women's sports as let's say a competitor or a flavor, maybe not even an alternative, but but a compatriot to the modern sports landscape. Through events of sports entertainment, like Evolution, through the boxing that we talked about on yesterday's part one of this 2-part podcast about women's sports weekend. And I only hope to continue to see further, let's say, improvement, further stretching. Oh boy. Meanwhile, Adam Copeland, I'm just here to help the young guys.
Well, how do you spell that?
That ain't how you spell it. That's what happens when ChatGPT take hold and you wanted to give an AI image. Now you get legends.
You might actually be right on how that happened.
Yeah. And they made it all the way
hang
to
on, the 3D printer's almost done.
Yeah, and they all the way to the printing press. So you know what? He was like, man, showtime in an hour, bro. Like, it's showtime in an hour. Look at his face, man. He like, all right, yeah,
No
showtime.
one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
Right. Gets people going, right? Yeah,
Good
but no,
deal.
but that's it, man. That's it for us, man. You got any final thoughts?
Well, to your point, kind of to encompass both, I do like where things are headed. Again, I think this is good what we're seeing between the two. I'm glad that exchanges are occurring. I'm going to tell you this, man. I'm sold on this LFG stuff. Like, that is a staple in this, in the Alva household now.
Yeah.
I cringe at the thought of only having 2 winners. I love this idea that if they don't win, they stay or remain. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's like a lot of the cast that you see is from season 1.
Right.
And to me, that establishes, right? We've talked about the grassroots aspect, and to be able to give these folks that might be a little bit green, but give them some screen time without it having the pressures of delivering the way that these other, the way that the pros are truly expected to.
Right.
Because once you go to NXT, I told you, NXT to me is not a developmental program anymore. It is just simply the C program. It is the AA, right? You are still being paid as a pro.
Well, you said it's not the pro, and then you proceeded to use AA. So which one is it, Double J?
Well, is AA amateur or is it professional, Gully?
All I know is that Huntington Park, I ain't seen the Guardians play there one game in my lifetime. But the Columbus Clippers haven't had a 3-game series with the Minnesota
Be careful
Twins.
because where are the Oakland A's right now?
Well, bankruptcy.
Wait a minute. Where is where is the Tampa Bay Rays at right now?
Hey, listen, they could be coming to a high school near you for all I care. But but in fairness though, not to just be an anti to your comment, I get what you're saying. LFG has taken its place. And I think the thing missing from NXT is simply these guys are so new that they don't just simply have the exposure yet. So
go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, so NXT isn't as much a development territory so much as okay, here's the theater, here's the limited run that we're going to run for 6 weeks. Then we'll open up nationwide to theaters end of August. But it's very much it's a fairly complete product, fairly complete individuals. They still utilize the helping hand from having the established greats come down to the program. So it is almost WWE, but it is, I think it's closer to a WWE official product than it is LFG developmental heavily learning product. So I agree with you on that, or I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I will point out again, I'm going to bring up the awkward hug between Charlotte and HBK. He wasn't ready for it. He did an ope. He came with an ope like that. Oh, we're hugging now.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't ready for that. Yeah.
But it was the ope for me. It was the Midwestern ope.
Oh.
Yeah, like
that Ohio. Sorry. We're doing this. Yeah, completely by surprise. But you know what? How many people did Michael Hickenbottom surprise when he got himself together?
But you're talking about protecting kayfabe, right?
Yeah,
and it's so weird. Okay, but I you know what? I did want to cover this too, and I know we're at the end of the show, but I have to ask you, Taker is a part of creative now.
Yes.
What do you expect, if anything, to change? How did we get here? Is it from things that we've discussed, right?
Because I think the WWE has a problem with its bigs. Aside from Gunther, like what do you want to do with the big? Because see, I don't remember what Taker did with, like Taker worked with the bigs and the main eventers because he had worked himself to that. He was a big and he was a main eventer. So he had both of those compliments going for him. I think WWE has a problem kind of working with its bigs. And so maybe he's helped to restore or to establish a, let's say, an identity what WWE does with its with its monsters, with its heavyweights, its tried and true heavyweights. I think he's there to help communicate that. Maybe finally develop Damian Priest into that ascension of the Undertaker role. We never know, but that's what I think. I think he does feel a need or a point of improvement, needs improvement in in that aspect of WWE when it comes to bigs. Like, why did what's his name get fired? Like, I don't understand it. Why did he get let go again? Braun Strowman. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, well, and again, I think it's only going to be good things. I hope he's able to remain on LFG. You know, I hope it doesn't pull him away. I thought Michelle McCool's fit in.
Yeah.
Right? And
so did Undertaker.
Yeah, with that being said, folks, we will be returning tomorrow in just about 24 short hours. And of course, as our host, Barbershop Jay, likes to say, if you really want to know what's going on, come to the shop.
Walk-ins are always welcome.
Holla.
Holla.